parents.
That's really interesting. You know,
Yes.
because all my life I've been told if you touch that egg, if you touch that bird, you are in big trouble because the
Right.
parents won't come
No,
back.
that's a wives' tale.
And right now, I went out to water a rhododendron. No, it's a philodendron that I've got in a basket on the porch, and there are 4 eggs. And we've been watching. It's a wren, and the mother has come back, and she'll sit on it. And I feel real protective toward those birds now that I've seen them out there. They're my birds,
Right,
you know.
right.
But she's been, you know, really faithful. She'll go away, and then she'll come back, and
Yes.
she'll be sitting on the
Yes.
eggs. What do you tell people who find a bird that's injured? Or I know that you told me that some birds will be shot, and
Some people, you know, not knowing better, may do that. It is illegal to shoot a migratory bird. What I would recommend, if you find an injured bird, if you are comfortable to catch them and put them in a box, please do so. If not, that's fine. Please don't take care of that animal yourself. Get back home and try to locate a local wildlife rehabilitator. It will take some time to find somebody. Please understand that a lot of wildlife rehabilitators have a full-time job, so they do this on the side. And it's also going to take time to find somebody who has who worked with that specific species. And you can contact local veterinarians, game warden, animal control, Department of Game and Inland Fishery, and some of them may have a wildlife rehabilitator in your area. The Wildlife Center of Virginia up in Waynesboro gives my number out a lot in my area. If someone calls them, they'll give my number out. So be patient. Understand that your patients actually may save this animal's life if you can get it into the appropriate hands. But that's the main part, is finding somebody who is licensed to take care of this animal.
one of the things that I think is so interesting is when I call you, you have a recording
Yes.
that answers and says, if you have found an injured bird,
Yes.
if you have found an ill bird, and then on your recording you give steps to take,
Yeah.
which I think is very helpful for somebody who's found an injured bird and
Right.
just does not know what to do.
Right. It says place the animal in a safe, well-ventilated box. Birds you can put in cardboard boxes. Mammals will eat through it, so you can't do that. You need to put them into a plastic. Keep the animal in a dark, quiet place. You want to reduce the stress, and don't give it any food or water. I know people, that's their first instincts. Let's feed it, let's give it water,
Let's
and
give
that's
it a hot dog,
actually
right?
the worst thing you can do, to be perfectly honest, until we can assess what's wrong with it.
Do you rehab any other wildlife, or do you just exclusively do
I
birds?
exclusively do birds of prey. I don't even do songbirds. I only do the hawks, vultures, and owls.
What's most prevalent? You said,
Screech owls.
Screech owls in this area?
I've had lots of screech owls.
how about hawks? Do we?
Yes, yeah, right. We have red-tailed hawks. We have Coopers and sharpshins. I've had them. Let's see. For owls, we've got the great horned owl and the barred owl, the screech owl. Those are the ones I've mostly seen.
How do you fund your facility and your operation, Jennifer? I know that you take a lot out of your own pocket.
Yes, we are not funded by any state or federal program. We are solely by public donations. So, and we currently was donated cheesecakes for a fundraiser, and I was able to team up with the Amherst Humane Society because their facility is open to the public. I'm not open to the public. So I've actually teamed up with them, and they were able to sell a bunch of cheesecakes, and we both were able to profit from it. So, and I still got a couple left, so if anybody would like to buy some cheesecakes, if I'm not available, you can contact the Amherst Humane Society and see if they have any.
Jennifer called me and she said, I have 280 cheesecakes. What am I going to do with these cheesecakes? So we knocked around some ideas, and our club actually has not helped you sell cheesecakes, but we certainly have bought
a lot,
a lot of cheesecakes.
That was fun.
And they're really good cheesecakes. If anybody wants cheesecake, contact Jennifer.
And I am tax deductible, so if they want to make a monetary donation, I am tax deductible.
I'm interested in knowing how you know when a bird is ready to be released back into the wild.
Depends on what their injury is. I want to make sure all the wounds are healed, if they had any wounds. If they came in underweight, I need to make sure their weight is normal. I don't want to send anybody out underweight.
What's a normal weight for a screech owl?
I have to look it up. It's probably about 150 grams. A great, I have a red-tailed hawk, anywhere between 2 to 3 pounds. With raptors, the females are bigger than the males, so it really depends on that. But you can look at them and judge that, what their weight should be for them. And then I take them out. I have a very large flight cage. I take them out to the flight cage, and they have to fly back and forth. I keep them in the flight cage for a little while, depending on what their injury was. So they have to be able to fly back and forth and not get winded, be able to perch perfectly, turn, and for the cases of animals like the little screech owls who have lost an eye, who were blind in one eye, they have to go through mouse school to give them an opportunity to practice hunting with missing that one eye. Even though they still hunt with their hearing, I like to give them that extra little help, because I would hate for them to go out and starve because I didn't give that extra little help for them.
You just said mouse school.
Mouse school.
Would you like to tell us what mouse school is?
You love mouse school.
I do like mouse school. Mouse school was one of the things I liked the best when I first met Jennifer.
I know the mice are not happy about it, but I have to do it for the good of the animal that I'm releasing. I will take some live mice, and I have the cage that is enclosed. It's a large cage. The animal can fly back and forth, and I put the mice in there with leaves and grass and debris, so I can try to make it as normal as I can that would look in the forest. And the animal has to be able to catch that food within 24 hours. So the next day I need to come back, they should have eaten. If they pass that, I'll add more debris and make it even harder for them, and more hiding places for the mice. So just to make sure that, yes, they can hunt. So whatever they came in with has healed, and yes, they can survive.
I like mouse school. Like you said, it may not be so good for the mice, but
I have to make sure that these animals are going to survive.
Right. And you raise your own mice.
I do.
And you told us something about, didn't somebody donate some white mice to you?
I bought them from a pet store, and they were black and white. And over time, I've actually been able to have solid gray or solid brown mice, because in the wild there are no white mice. And the hawks and owls, I found, get a little confused when you give them a white mouse, because they don't know what it is. And I don't want them to think that it's okay to eat a white mouse, because they're not going to find it in the wild. So I try to keep it as natural as possible. And I think they do better.
I think that's really interesting. You said you had a story you wanted to tell us.
I recently, last month, got a phone call about a baby barred owl. That it was being transported up to my area. They were getting ready to take it all the way to Waynesboro, but they got my name and number, and so she asked if I could take this baby barred owl. Apparently it was found on the ground, and the guy had dogs, and he was worried about it getting injured. So I got him about 5 o'clock that night, and he was fine. There was nothing wrong with this little guy. He was about 12 days old, my guesstimate. So I called the people who found him in Danville. I talked to them, and I told them I was going to bring them back the following night to try to reunite them with the parents. I have not done this specific way of reuniting before. I learned it in a conference, which I'll explain that in a minute. I thought it was wonderful, and I wanted to try it. So I drove all the way to Danville, and I wasn't sure if I could find the nest, because they nest 60 feet up in the air, so I wasn't sure. So what I ended up doing was bringing a laundry basket, and I drilled a bunch of holes in it and put nesting in there so I could create a nest. When I got there, they showed me where the bird was found. It was obviously not near the nest. So I got the best trick of